Before even thinking to move to the Dominican Republic, there are a few things that you need to have very clear and organized when it comes to your finances and your life in general. So if you're thinking to move to the Dominican Republic, this video is going to be for you. Hello guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Isaura Abreu and I own several online successful businesses which have helped me move abroad to the Dominican Republic without even thinking about how I'm gonna make money abroad, since as you know, when you work remotely, especially if you have your own business, you manage what you're gonna be doing in order not to get broke. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about that. But before we start, if you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you do subscribe. In this channel, we talk a little bit about everything, especially my lifestyle here in the Dominican Republic, why I move, how I make money here, how I live my life in the Campo area, the rural area of the Dominican Republic, living actually a very luxury life, I would say, because I have everything I need, and luxury for me is peace. So we're gonna share a lot of information and a lot of valuable content about that. So make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you don't miss a video. I'm trying to be as transparent as possible in each and every one of my videos, because I think it's really important for everybody trying to move abroad to have a clear understanding on what they're getting into it. So I'm here today to be as clear as I can, especially if you're planning to move here. The first thing that you need to do when moving abroad is making sure that your American bank accounts are in good standing, especially if your online businesses or your remote job or whatever you pretend to do is in dollars in the United States, where possibly you're going to be paying taxes every year. Make sure those accounts are in good standing and that you let your bank know that you're going to be traveling around the world or probably be relocating, and or you're going to be in both places, traveling back and forth, so that they know your activity. Remember that whatever you use your credit cards or your cards, they get a notification. So if you want to avoid having to have the hassle of calling customer service because your card doesn't work, make sure that you have that very clear for them. So making sure that whichever credit cards you're going to be using abroad, you let your bank know so that they don't give you issues and you don't have to go through that. That's one of the most important things, because I see that some people come to the Dominican Republic, or they go abroad, they don't notify their bank, and then they're stuck, not able to use their credit cards, debit card, and whatever. Now we don't like to carry around a lot of cash, so that might be a little problem. And I mentioned this one at first because I think we forget sometimes, right? We forget that we're not in the United States when we go abroad, where convenience is faster, where you can call your bank faster, you can have resolution of stuff faster. When you're abroad, it's totally different. So very clear. Another thing that you need to have in mind when moving abroad to another country, especially the Dominican Republic, which is the one I'm gonna talk about. Here is where I live, and the Dominican Republic is the place that I decided to move a year ago with my whole family after living in the United States for 17 years, is make sure you do your diligence of schooling for your children if you have. Whatever permits do you need if you are a single mom, or you traveling with kids and a new husband maybe, or is not the mother or the father of your kids or whatever. Those are very important things to take into consideration when traveling, especially if you're going to be staying in the Dominican Republic for more than a month, especially more than 6 months, not traveling back. Very important to have all those documentations in a safe place and bring them once you come to the Dominican Republic so that we can avoid any hassles. When I travel with my kids here, they spend more than 6 months here. My oldest daughter is not my husband's daughter. And I went to New York first, and then they had to travel because I was preparing everything there. We had a little emergency. We thought it was going to be back to USA. Thank God everything got resolved. So my husband had to travel back with my kids, my daughter, my mom, everybody. And we had a very extended situation that arose from my daughter not being my husband's daughter. And we needed to show that I had the full custody of my daughter, and then I give the power of attorney to my husband so that he can bring my daughter to the United States on that trip. It was a whole mess because it wasn't even about me having the full custody or like just get a trip and come back to get her. No. It was about providing a recent paper or documentation that showed that I have the full custody. It was a mess. I spent around 14,000 pesos on the documentation, and it was because the person that did it was family, like it was known, my husband family knows her, and she did it for that price because those processes are actually very expensive. So why am I mentioning this? Because I think it's important. I think it's important, especially for families moving abroad that might have this issue. Well, I'm putting this into perspective so that you know. What else? Well, and this happened, good to mention this too, because I made them Dominicans citizen. If they was not to be Dominican citizens, even though they were living here, I didn't have to do the process of proving that I had the full custody. But because I made them Dominican citizens, then they had to really prove and have in their files that I have the full custody as the mother. Yes, it was crazy. It was a lot. But anyways, that's good to let you know. Make sure you have your papers and everything situated before you come. So yeah, you don't have to be going back and forth, especially if you don't have anybody in the United States that can go around looking for papers for you. I recommend you have everything set aside before that. Make sure all your school papers for your children are set aside as well. Decide where you're going to put your children here in the private school or public school, whatever. Make sure you have all your papers and make sure you call the place where you are planning to have them go so that they give you the list of requirements that they have. That's the easy way. My daughter is in public school here in the campo. She knows Spanish perfectly and she writes Spanish perfectly. So the transition for her was not that bad, because she already knows Spanish. She's getting accustomed to the teachers and the way they work, but she's doing very good. I can't complain. So that's going to be totally different for you, especially if you're going to put them in a private school. With that clear, let's continue. Moving to the Dominican Republic with a stable income. That could be from online sources because you can operate your businesses online, or you're gonna learn a skill to start providing those services that you learn with your skills online and make dollars, because you're going to be offering those services to people in the United States to make more money, or probably people in the United Kingdom or whatever to make euros, so that you can live a good life here. Why? Because I don't recommend no one coming from the United States to come to Dominican Republic to get a Dominican Republic salary. You are going to live in a month. The basic salaries here are very, very low. So if you're coming with no savings, especially, and then looking for a job here, I really don't recommend that, because you probably will be used to American dollars, change in pesos dominicanos, and you're gonna be confused and you're gonna be like, why did I came back? And it's just because you decided not to prepare your finances before you came here. Prepare your finances before you come. Now, you can leave with very little dollars here, but you cannot leave with very little pesos here. So you understand what I'm saying? People in the Dominican Republic, the only people that make a lot of money are probably teachers, probably people that work for the government, probably people that have their own businesses. So of course you're going to come here and you're going to come with the mentality to probably have your own business, even if it's a tangible business that you start here selling food, growing plants, if you have land, planting stuff so you can sell it, I don't know, whatever. That's going to be great because you're going to be your own boss. But if you come here to work for somebody else, like supermarkets, regular customer service areas, you're not going to make it. I'm just being honest, because I am being honest. Now, if you are in the United States and you have room for savings to buy a house, to maybe buy a nice vehicle so you can move around once you're here, to have good savings and to have money maybe to invest in a startup business, that could be an online business or a tangible business like I just said, you're going to be set for life. You don't need a lot of money in the Dominican Republic to live, but you do need a good strategy and planning, especially if you're moving abroad and you have never lived here. I am experiencing all the things, all the tips that I'm giving you here. So this is why I am giving you exactly the roadmap of everything that I wish I knew before I came. So make sure your finances are very organized, okay? Like I said in one of my other videos, which I'm gonna put somewhere here, where I talk about my expenses here in the Dominican Republic, my priorities, because it's very different. Things that I have to pay in order to live, I need those things, than things that I am just like, I just like those. So it's gonna be very different. So priorities are one thing, and the rest is just likes. It's not that I need that to live, you know? So very clear. I wanna make sure I tell you guys that. Another thing very important for you. Make sure that you get to know the area that you're gonna move to before you actually make the move. Don't invest in a property that you're gonna be calling your home until you go and spend some time in the area, feeling the atmosphere and making sure that buying there is what you really want. There has been cases where people buy because Fulanito told me that it's gonna be fine, and then they find out that it was a terrible mistake for them. You don't want to be one of those, because first of all, you don't have time to waste, and second of all, after you make the investment here in the Dominican Republic, process can take very long. So if you no longer want something and you want process to canceling or whatever you want to do, selling the property, whatever, it might take a long time, and you don't want that. So make sure that you do your research, that you come visit, that you feel the atmosphere. So yes, with this being said, these was my priority tips for you if you're planning to move to the Dominican Republic, because finances are important, and talking about all the things you need are important. Along the way, the more I start thinking about other stuff that I think are important for you to know, I will be posting it here in the channel. But for now, these are like the priority that I think everybody that's even considering moving abroad need to know and need to organize before making a big move. The Dominican Republic is beautiful. Living in the campo has changed my life. I never felt so alive like I feel now. And it was one of the best decisions that I made for me and my family. I couldn't be happier to be here actually living the dream that I started to build 3 years ago. I'm actually living that dream, and you can start creating and living your own dream right now. You just need to take a little pen and paper and start writing your goals, start planning, and start taking action. Because remember, no one is going to come to save you. You have to save yourself, and you have everything you need to succeed. You just need to take action, make a plan, and make it work. And if it doesn't work, well, we're going to change plans and move to plan B. I love you all. I hope all the tips that I give you in the channel are helpful. Make sure that you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. And if you don't want to miss a video, make sure you hit the notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. I'm planning to make a private community very soon where I'm going to be posting information about skills that you can learn to work online, tips about credit, if I know anything about land that is on sale in the south part of the Dominican Republic or wherever I go, and a lot more. I'm working on that community, so as soon as it's ready, I will let you know. But you can actually join the email list. I will leave the link below so that you can subscribe to the email list, so that when the community is ready, you can join and get those tips, hacks, and information that could take you to the next level, especially credit hacks and all of that stuff. You know, that's what I do, and I have decided to help you guys because I know you might need it, especially with all the situation going on in the United States. But kisses for you all, hugs. I love you all. Thank you for the support, and I'll see you in the next video.